So next we will discuss about the simulators, emulators and debugging. So what is simulators? Simulators is nothing but we simulate the entire hardware into software, and we work with the software to find out its characteristics. Something like we have a networks subject, and Wo- Um, so physically, you have to connect all the devices, maybe to check some performance or the speed of the network or how it behaves, how to ensure whether there is no deadlock. So all these things you have to physically set up. Instead, we can make use of the simulators, wherein it enable us to set up a LAN network, WAN network using a software, and we apply algorithms on those networks, and we will check its performance. And based on that, we get a feel that the same thing, if we implement it physically, it has to work in the similar way. So simulators has got lot of responsibilities. So it will make you get a feel that you are actually experimenting with the real system, but actually you're using software for that. Without using any uh, hardware, you're using only software, and you're getting a feel about the entire system and that you are working upon. So simulators simulate the target hardware, and the firmware execution can be inspected using simulators. So one such example I already discussed, NS2, NS3, you will be studying in the labs. So you will be seeing how the network is set using the software, and you're going to make it half duplex, full duplex, and you're going to check the condition control algorithms. You will note down the performance, all that. But physically, you are not setting up any network. So the network is set through a simulator. It is a software. So you're setting up and you're trying to apply the algorithms on that, and you will try to make a note. So whatever you're doing, simulations, that will be almost 80 to 90% similar to the real world hardware. So a lot of responsibilities will be there on the simulator development. So the features of simulator based debugging are listed below. So it is purely software based, as I said. It doesn't require any real target system. Again, I discussed that. Very primitive. So primitive means anything you start, you always do that first with the simulation. And then if you are getting somewhat a close by result, then you will implement it in a hardware. The lack of real time behavior. Obviously, it will not have real time behavior. So what are the advantages of simulator-based debugging? No need for original target board, so no need of hardware. You can simulate I/O peripherals, definitely. You can simulate the abnormal conditions. You cannot check these abnormal conditions practically. It may lead to disaster, but using simulations, you can try out. All the with the exceptions also, exception values also, you can try and find out. So let's see the limitations. The drawback of simulator is there is a deviation from real behavior. Obviously, it can map up to 80 to 85%, but 100% you cannot, because it is not a real hardware. There could be delays, there could be noise, there could be cross functionalities in the real time system, which may not be reflected in the simulations. So lack of real timeliness. As I said, simulations may follow deadlines more crucially, but it may not happen in the real time systems. So these are some of the limitations. Now let us talk about the emulators. Emulator is a hardware device which emulates the functionalities of the target device. The best example is our microcontroller labs. So whatever the hardware programs we are having, we make use of emulators. Means we have, to take an example, your syllabus doesn't have, but the older syllabus, they had a concept of elevators. All of you know the concept of elevators, where it is used in the buildings. But to check it out, its functionality, we used to have a small board, and we used to assume there are 4 floors, that is denoted by 4 LEDs. And then we used to take a sequence of LEDs, and that movements of LEDs used to tell that the elevator is moving to the first floor, second floor, third floor, there's a third floor request, there is a second floor request, like that. So it is actually, we were making use of computer, we were making use of one hardware board called elevator. I will show you in the lab. So we were writing the programs, and first we were executing it on that board. How it will be, the second floor there is a lift moving and there is a request from the third floor, it has to go to the third floor immediately, there is a request from the first floor, so it has to come down. So it was actually everything was emulated using LEDs. So LEDs was doing that. So virtually we used to feel that yes, it is moving up and moving down. So this concept is called as emulators. They are not real elevators. They are, but we are making use of hardware components and we are seeing how exactly it works. If it is successful, same thing you can apply it really. So that they are called as emulators. Now, emulators is a hardware device which emulates the functionalities of the target device. That's what I said, and allows real-time debugging. Anywhere, somewhere there is a mistake, it is denoted by the hardware functionality, so you can debug. So there are different types of debugging. This is about the emulators. Now let us come back about the debuggers. What is debuggers? There are different techniques. So let us start with the first one, incremental EEPROM burning technique. You have a huge code. What you do, you will divide the entire code into several functions or modules. And what you do, you will burn the code one after the other, means the one module after the another module, because the entire code you are divided into several modules which has got its own functionalities. So what you do, first you take one module, one functionality, you will separately code that and you will compile it. If any errors are there, you will debug there and there itself. If everything is through, first module is ready, you will go for the second module. Again you will code, you will cross compile. If everything is fine, you will burn it. So it is incremental, means module by module you are burning it on a memory, burning on a chip. So this is called as incremental EEPROM. So the advantages, any errors are there, you're going to fix up in that particular modules only rather than going through the entire code. This mechanism is called as incremental EEPROM. Let's go to the next one, inline breakpoint based firmware debugging. What is inline breakpoint? So here we doesn't follow a strict functionality concept. Here what we do, we have an option of putting a breakpoint. Maybe you feel after 10th line you want one breakpoint, means after 10 lines of execution you want to test something. And after that you want to test after 20 lines. So there's no hard and fast rule. So wherever you insert a breakpoint, what it does at that particular point of time, it will debug only those many lines. Whatever you have done, 1 to 10, 10th line is you have inserted a breakpoint. So immediately it will debug only 1 to 9 and it will give the results. When once it is through, again you are from the 11th to maybe 40th, there is no breakpoint, it will execute. So 40th line there is a breakpoint, so it will debug from 11th to 40th line. This is called as inline breakpoint based firmware debugging. So now let's go to the monitor program based firmware debugging. So here monitor program acts as supervisor. So what is it? It controls the downloading of user code into the code memory, inspects and modifies register. This usually we do it in our labs also. So the debugging, you have a code segment, you have a data segment, you have register. So wherever you will try to run the program and you will know how the things are changing in the data segment, code segment and registers. So anywhere there is mismatch in that expected data, you can fix up then and there itself. So this is called as monitor-based monitor program-based firmware debugging. The next one is on-chip firmware debugging. Means this particular processors or controller will have built-in debug modules. So you are not expected to put in any programs. So the IC is coming with on-chip debug support. So it will automatically debug based upon the time intervals. So it will automatically debug. This is one type of debugging. The next type is in-circuit emulator-based firmware debugging. So this type of debugging is, as we discussed already, you have a target board, you have a PC. What we make use here, in-circuit emulator. So the IC is there in the target board. So you are not going to remove that, but you are using one more component. So this will scan whatever is there in this particular IC that gets reflected in the system. So whatever changes you do, that is communicated to this particular target IC using this ICE. So you're not going to remove, you're going to fix up here itself using ICE. So these are some of the debugging mechanisms. So let us uh, just brief it. So we discussed about simulators, which is completely software. It has, but the drawback is it is away from the real timeliness. Next, we discussed about emulators. I took an example of our lab itself, and we use some hardware components to emulate it to get a feel how it works. And you can also debug using the incremental EEPROM burning technique, or inline breakpoint, or monitor based on chip firmware debugging, or in circulator emulator based firmware debugging. So these are some of the different debugging techniques.